If all else fails, just remember, all hail Megatron.
I know, right?
Yeah.
At least he hates us all equally.
Exactly.
At least he's got a solid, consistent energy plan.
Yeah, he does. Us.
Your planet belongs to me, and all its energon stores shall be mine. Soundwave, activate the energon transfer.
Yeah. It may have some flaws in it from a human point of view, but at least he's not, flopping all over the place on
The
it.
thing is, given the amount of people who are saying the reason why I'm going off X party is because they keep lying, you could probably get away with that and actually get some headway with that kind of thinking. As it's like, vote for Megatron, he'll kill us to steal our energy. But he's honest.
Exactly.
It's like, it's refreshing to hear. I might vote for him. It's like, okay. What level is your government and democracy at?
None.
I voted for co-op.
Yeah, I vote for self-destruction because of honesty. That's what my government is.
Just remember,
Megatron,
vote Decepticon.
What is your manifesto if you are elected ruler of the world? I shall enslave the human race and drain this planet dry. A refreshingly honest take from this politician.
Grassroots conservative. He's got his goals plain on his sleeve.
Right, before we get too much
Vote
further
Megatron,
into
the
actual
Decepticons
world
are always
politics,
watching.
I am gonna first check that
Yes,
everybody...
Yes.
That's a good point, actually. Dave, don't blame me, I voted for it.
I can hear a Hoover.
Yeah, that was Mike's printer going off. So, I am going to stop the ship rumble. I'm also going to turn off the intro music. To turn us briefly over to the intro video, we shall be back momentarily, folks. Give us a few moments, and we shall see you in a minute. Welcome, folks, to the further adventures of the USS Navis. I am MJ the GM, and I will be your games master for the next couple of hours. With me are the entirety of the Navis crew.
Hi.
We totally were not discussing politics, because that way lies madness.
Welcome to the UK. You won't need your sense of sanity.
Just the UK?
Yeah, we
Sure.
have European elections as well.
Yes, but how many people are having elections on the 4th of July?
I like to think that that was a
That's
specific stab at
international.
our American cousins.
That's American Treason
No.
Day, isn't it?
That's
No,
us. I
I'm
think
pretty
people
sure
are right.
that American actually take a break with parades and fireworks and stuff and the crushing depression of reality.
Yeah, Treason Day.
Although I do like the fact that Sean activated the self-destruct sequence of the Navis just after, or just as Davis activated the Bifrost drive, so...
Same button, different effect.
Plot, no, we tend to press button.
Port Nacelle initiate steady now. We don't want to actually collapse the entirety of sane space.
I mean, given what's coming towards us in the future, is it a bad thing?
Where's the function for the zoom bit, by the way, for the when people type? Because on a laptop it's horrible.
I don't know, actually.
There we go.
I think it's
Got it.
auto.
Got it.
Got it? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's a good point. I should probably do that myself, but I will do that at some other later point. Okay, I am just going to check that everybody is in on Foundry, and that everybody who wants to hear it is tied up to Sirenscape and can actually hear something. Okay, I'm taking the silence as an affirmative, plus I was also reading what was going on Discord. Nightmare. If you haven't seen it, give it a watch. If you could find it.
Good old Nightmare.
Yeah. I clearly don't have any of the episodes at all because they've never been released, you know, and I wouldn't do something like piracy.
Not
We
here.
met him. Yeah, Sean and I met Hugo Myatt.
Yeah, no, I've met several of them. I've actually got to Warren sort of like use the props way back in pre-YouTube days when the group of us were doing sort of like filming scenes for an RPG that was fan-made and based on it. That was a very long time
He's got
ago.
spare keys to the house. They don't know
Sophia
this.
calls me
I've been to his house, he doesn't know. Hawky Spokey.
Good Lord, yeah. Change my mind.
Okay. So, everybody signed in. Good. So the last thing that happened to the Navis lot were they were reporting to Station Epsilon 19 just to resupply them with scientific equipment, and the station commander invited them and the captain of a trading hauler, cargo hauler, I should say, pardon me, to dinner. Basically, just for a bit of frivolity. Turns out that the captain of the cargo hauler was an Orion female who started working her species magic on the commander for whatever reason. Star Trekking across the universe. Well, if you're going to test it, if it does the zoom in thing, which for me it does.
No, he still did it.
Is it for yourself or for other people, or does it always do it? See, it didn't happen for me just then. Interesting. Anyway, back to our summary. So, yes, all of a sudden, as people were starting to depart and were performing security checks just to make sure that those pesky Orions weren't up to something nefarious, the station suffered an explosion, as apparently a feedback went through the entire power system, rupturing multiple EPS conduits and basically throwing the whole thing into chaos. So we have some of our command crew, most of our command crew actually, who were on the station, were initially stuck in a turbo lift, but they have since moved on to the engineering section in order to try and see what the damage is like there, and the damage is pretty dang extensive. So they've been electing to help out where they can. Casualties are high, especially in the engineering section, but luckily for the folks in the operations center, Lieutenant Nova was on hand and did manage to lessen the feedback effect on the operations center, so managed to save a couple of people, including the station commander. Now, since that's happened, contact with the Navis is still up and running, so you've been able to post repair teams and medical teams from the Navis to the station. And in that vein, after doing everything she could to make sure that folks were stabilized in the operations center, including a little bit of help from Unit Hello, Lieutenant Nova is now using the Jeffries tubes and secondary access tunnels in order to get towards sickbay, where folks seem to be congregating naturally. Sickbay on the station, I should note. Whereas at the moment everybody else is in the engineering section. So, unless there are questions, concerns, or comments with what I have said or what I haven't said, then we shall move on. The first thing I'm going to do is turn off the rumble because we are on the ambience. So let's move ourselves to sickbay on Epsilon Station. So as one can rightly imagine, even the sickbay level hasn't completely foregone the effects of the feedback that ravaged the entire station. And as Nova enters into sickbay, you find that the place is bedlam. You have got one doctor and a couple of assistants who are running about here and there that aren't currently on the map because they're extras who don't have lines. What do they matter? So, sickbay, most of the reception area that Nova finds herself in is unpopulated, probably because all hands need to be used in order to try and save as many people as possible. Already there are evidence of body bags for those patients who are unable to be saved. There are a couple of motionless figures on biobeds that haven't been gotten to yet, and a couple of folks who are currently being worked on by medical professionals. There appears to be one very embattled-looking doctor who himself has suffered some injuries, minor injuries it seems, one hopes, but he is busy with dealing with everything he's dealing with at the moment. So, Nova, what are you wanting to do?
I think she'd issue Hello to start some medical checks and help, because he's kind of better at it than her. But I think she'd mostly have just been looking for the crew, make sure none of those are here and hurt or are here.
Alright.
What's there?
Fair enough. Okay, so Unit Hello dispatched to help with medical stuff. So as has been noted, Unit Hello does have a better than Nova medicine rating. But, Unit Hello does have the talent of did the reading, so technically if momentum is spent, Unit Hello could use science rather than medicine, if you want to go that way. But, of course, Unit Hello has suffered some moderate structural damage from taking some of the explosions that happened in the operations center. Unit Nova? I'm starting to speak like Unit Hello now. Sorry. Obviously, my implant is malfunctioning. My link to Unit Hello is acting up again.
It's the rank she always wanted.
Resistance is futile.
Rank. I actually have realised that I'm the only one in the name of the player that doesn't actually have their rank next to their name.
No, don't!
She didn't
I
have
don't
it.
know how to. Can I edit that myself, or does it have to go through?
I think it's because you're not assigned a character.
Yeah, I think it's because you're not assigned to your character.
Let's have a look.
I mean, it's been like that for a while, but I've just noticed it in this. I'd actually properly noticed in this one. Yeah, it's a minor thing. We don't have to stop at things. It's just for
Yeah, you are
afterwards,
the
I
owner.
suppose.
Yeah, but if you didn't select it as his character on assignment, because what it means is that his token, he doesn't actually have an assigned token on his player selection.
Aha, I see. Okay, fine, very good.
That's it. It's not important. It's just something for next time.
If you right-click on yourself and do user configuration, you should be able to assign yourself.
Let's just wait then, folks, and see what happens.
So many tokens. So many copies of Commander Vibers.
Vibers, he is amongst us.
There's only one copy.
Oh
yeah.
The rest aren't real.
There we go. Done. Alright, so for Nova, the good news is so far she hasn't spotted any Navis crew at all down here on sickbay. That can mean one of two things, of course. One, they're still alive and about, or two, if they're still injured, they haven't been found yet. But
Bother again, but could you pull me across to the right page? I'm stuck on the landing page.
so I've noticed, yes. Let me see if I can pull to sea. Oh, there we go. So, so far,
There we
nothing much has occurred. Unit Hello is helping as best as Unit Hello can. If you want to spend a momentum, you can see how well Unit Hello can assist. This is going to be more than likely a control and medicine, or in this case, control and science check from Unit Hello. Now, sadly, this doesn't come under damage control and repair as Unit Hello has been programmed, so...
I think it should.
But there's a success. So, the good news is Unit Hello didn't mistake one giblet for a different type, so... So, yes.
I'll try turning it off and turning it on again.
Have you tried rebooting the unit?
Just casually stops the heart and starts again with a shock.
So, the doctor on Epsilon 19 is a Vulcan by the name of Silek, who is very much surprised at the sudden appearance of a floating robot next to him, but does not turn down the, the assistance. Damage control. Remove contaminating organics from system. Will clean and fix bed. You need to keep coolant. This sounds almost. This sounds almost what Viju was referring to organic life forms as.
I think someone, John was quoting Futurama.
I wouldn't know. I know, heresy.
Out of cheese error.
Please restart universe.
I guess if she's not found them here, she'd head up towards the Orion ship.
Well, it's funny you should mention that, because as Nova is kind of like pootling around the reception area, just waiting to see if any of her crewmates come in, that's when a trio of Orions just kind of walk in. One of them stays next to Nova, while the other two just kind of walk into these opposing doors. Not actually walk into them as in bang, ouch, oh my face, but walk towards them and then open them.
NPCs walking
Start
into
having
it
a look
over and
around.
over again.
Can we help?
The Orion looks Nova up and down and says, "It's fine, we'll be done in a moment."
What are you looking for?
Looks you up and down. We'll be done in a moment. You hear a lot of rustling going on. They appear to be rummaging through what sound like equipment lockers. Then one of them calls out, "Got some!" What were you going to say, sorry?
I was going to say, if you're in need of a medical assistance, we're more than happy to assist, but as you can see, it's rather busy in here.
The Orion looks Nova up and down once again and just doesn't reply, just keeps looking forwards. Nova, give me insight and command.
Doing that. What emotion do they feel?
Here's this empathy projection move.
Indeed. 17 and a 1. Nice, nice, nice. These guys are playing it cool, but there's deception going on here. And the guy standing next to Nova is continuously looking at her to see where her phaser is.
Unit hello, activate defense protocols.
Nope, he's looking at the wrong thing.
Right, the other two start working out, and they appear to have their hands full of a certain type of... they all have identical... Pardon me, they both have identical sets of tools in their arms. Somewhat bulky items, but they're carrying about 2 apiece. We got him, let's go!
I'll kick the one that makes the first move.
Well, one of this guy here just hands off one of the items he's hauling to this guy, and they look as if they're going to head straight for the door. At which point, Nova puts herself in front of the door. The one with his hands full backs off, while the other 2 guys... Actually, there's a desk, so he can't do anything. So this guy backs off. He's got one hand free. Pardon me. This guy has got one hand free, so he draws. He reaches into his tunic and pulls out what looks like a disruptor pistol. This guy, being close, reaches into his own tunic and pulls out a knife.
Oh dear.
Well, this isn't the time for looting.
So this is where we switch to combat. So
3-on-1 battle. Who do you reckon? Who's got odds on Nova?
Lace your bets.
Could be close.
Hello just comes around and starts to activate defense protocol to start tasering me.
Well,
Have you seen my laser eye?
Installation.exe has fully loaded.
Is the bet for Nova to win or for Nova to cause incurable mental damage to all the Orions?
Yes.
Okay.
why limit yourself?
Not telling you in which order she wants to do them in.
Well, because neither side surprised the other, both are pretty much in a standoff. It's up to whoever wants to start it, so that does mean Nova can go first if she wants, or Hello, jump in.
I think Nova would just start.
Activating Lieutenant Nova.
I just want to see Nova just drop to the floor in full splits and just punch him right between the legs.
Package check from Johnny Cage.
Yeah, that sounds like the move that she's making.
Okay.
I'll save and see how the first one goes.
Who did we just lose?
Davis, but he rejoined.
Okay.
Spend the momentum, Sean. Spend it all. Punch him that hard, you break something.
Yeah, spend the momentum.
Do like the guy did to the terrorist at Glasgow Airport, where he kicked him so hard he tore a tendon.
Oh, that. I remember that.
That was a terrible round.
And I got better. Okay then. So Nova makes a bit of a clumsy attempt to go for the Orion crewman with a very elaborate move, even doing the splits to try and hit, but unfortunately he got his leg up and managed to deflect the blow, in which case he plants a stiff kick at Nova, so we're using unarmed damage rather than the blade, so we're going for 3 successes to effect, and it's a knockdown, so Nova basically gets pump kicked backwards, and you lose 3 stress, unless you've got something that you are going to use to decrease the amount of stress lost.
No, I'll save it just in case. Yeah.
Okay, so take 3 stress. It is... right. This guy, the one with his hands full, is making a break for it as fast as he can and is now running with his ill-gotten gains down the corridor away. Is Unit Hello joining in?
Yes.
Okay, Unit Hello activates. What would Hello like to do?
Activate patient protocol, must tranquilize.
Well, he had his type 3 phase taken off him, so charge the guy at the back and zap him out.
Okie dokie. Let's see. Zap him. Now, we don't exactly have much to zap him with, but he can always be clobbered, so... It's got a daring of 8, security of 1. Oh, not bad at all, actually. Controls.
That's because I use control. Should only be 1.
Okie spooky do, so that is going to be a zap, which zaps the other Orion with the disruptor pistol. Surprises him somewhat. What the hell are you?
Security droid.
So, with his disruptor pistol leveled at Unit Hello, he is making a shooting retreat. So, yeah. Let's see how well he does. Control and security. Disruptor pistol is a wild shot, doesn't manage to snag Unit Hello at all. So it just kind of blows up on the desk next to Unit Hello, doesn't actually score a shot, which leaves the last guy, who drew a knife that he's also basically running off down the corridor along with his friends, making off with what they've got as fast as possible. So we come back around to Nova. What Nova like to do. Now they're at the moment within sight. Of course the guy with the knife is the one at the back of the group, therefore is the closest one to shoot. The others are taking off at a distance.
I think she's going to foot pursue and try and still get into the melee combat with the guy at the back.
Okay, cool.
Try and knock
So
him into the...
yeah. He's in the next zone rather than, well, actually, probably he was in one zone, knocked you into the next one. He's made it to the edge of the zone that you're currently in. So him knocking you back into this zone actually proved to be quite beneficial. So Nova can indeed get up, sprint and catch him, and can do the same thing that you did before. Because he's not actively fighting, he's trying to get away. This would be a difficulty 1 challenge to just bowl him over. Tackle him from the back. Which is exactly what you needed. Okay, so this guy basically gets knocked flat on his butt from Nova barreling into him and shoulder barging him in the spine. Which means he goes sprawling. It's one of them next. So the guy who had his hands full is going to spend both his swift actions to get away. So I'm spending a threat to do that. He disappears round an a junction. Unit Hello. What would Unit Hello like to do?
Move and try and stun the other one, I guess.
Stun the one that's down, or the one that's still trying to get away?
The one that's still trying to get away.
Okay. Now, Unit Hello, let's say for the sake of ease that he managed to go past a phaser cabinet on the way. So I will allow him to snag, at the very least, a Type 1 phaser, because you would expect those kind of things to be lying around in sickbay, just in case. So for this fellow, it's going to be a control and security shot, difficulty 2. Now I hope you've noticed, but Unit Hello has actually gained an extra value and therefore has 3 determination.
Yeah.
So if you need to, you
one
can
of
use
those
that.
into shooters, one I suppose purpose derived from me kind of works.
Yep. Okay, I can do that. His purpose is indeed to stop. Ooh, that was a good one. That was a very, very good one. So, yeah, phaser in the back. So that was 2 over what you needed. You can either bank them or put them in damage or a combination of the above.
I'll do 1 each.
Well. Okay, 1 back into the momentum pool, 1 extra for the damage. Phaser set to stun. Now you can, if you want, spend the momentum to re-roll those 2 blank dice. Or you can leave it with 3 successes, 1 effect.
I think that's enough.
Alright. So, it's already technically set to stun. It at least makes this guy stumble as he's hit, as he's got a glancing stun phaser shot somewhere in his vicinity, so you've at least slowed him down. And it should be, yeah, it's his turn next, so he is going to not go away as fast as he can, but he is going to try and return fire, like he managed to not do last time. Let's see how well he does this time. Oh! Right, complication. I am going to say that as he turns around to try and shoot Unit Hello, 1, he misses, and because he stumbled from getting a partial stun shot, he is going to not be looking where he's going and trips over the very thing he's trying to get away with. So he ends up sprawling to the floor as well, as he trips over his own luggage. Now that leaves this fella, who uses his quick action to get back to his feet, and he's going to use his slow action to try and knife Nova, which means Nova gets to make an opposed daring and security check against this guy's daring and security. And I rolled middling, so... Oh, it's a no-score draw. So, using her usual knife defense routine, Nova manages to deflect a great many of the incoming stabs and thrusts, and so for the moment has this guy controlled. Next round, Nova.
I think she's going to focus on the knife guy, because these guys have both got 1 lever.
So, what was that? You're pulling out the knife, or you're trying to get his knife away from him?
No, just trying to knock him back down.
Okay.
Usual fighting. An RKO or something.
From out of nowhere! The Nova Bomb. Cool, so that's another daring and security check from both parties.
Terrible today.
I'm doing better. Okay, so the attempt at trying to grapple him is not successful. But since you were looking to deflect his knives, he only manages to get an unarmed strike in. And I got 3 successes, 1 effect. Once again, if you want, I mean, you can spend a determination to get out of the way, or you can take the stress. You're taking the stress? Oh, spooky. But he also scored an effect, which means he knocked Nova back a bit. He's trying to create distance so he can get away. Unit Hello's turn. Well, Hello has successfully managed to make this guy stumble and trip.
Yeah, I think shooting's keep him down, I guess.
Okay. Let's play those hits again. Okay, no successes, I'm afraid. Unless, of course, you want to spend one of Hello's determinations to re-roll those dice. So, yay! That's... okay. Marginally better than nothing, but unfortunately... this is not Unit Hello's specialty. Therefore, the shot goes a bit wide, impacts somewhere above the guy's head, which gives him... He's already gone, so this guy gives this guy a chance to use his quick action to get to his feet. He looks back, rather alarmed look on his face, and I'm going to spend another threat to make this guy basically pig it as fast as he can into the same junction that his fellow went, running for his life, which means the last remaining... remove these combatants because they're no longer needed. Which was that? It's that there. The only one left is this guy with a knife, so he drops the item he was trying to carry and just comes in on Nova, rather sure that he's going to be able to get the drop on us since he's been doing fairly okay for himself so far. He's sticking with the knife, so in he comes. Once again, Nova gets to do daring and security. I got one! And you got one, so again, this guy knows how to fight enough that he's able to keep his hat, but Nova's own troubles from maybe the explosion in the ops center has kind of rung her bell a little bit. Which point? Let's see if the good doctor from sickbay can lend a hand. Well, he fires and it's a bit of a wild shot. But it's enough to make this guy think that he's onto a losing fight here, so he is gonna hightail it. But realizes quickly that because he's got Nova and Hello and Dr. Select all pointing weapons and stuff at him, that he actually puts his hands up and surrenders. There's more people coming down the corridor at him. So... this guy surrenders.
I'd probably see what he was trying to steal, or things that he was trying to steal.
Since you have now finished that combat, you get your stress back. Unit Hello. What was that, sorry?
Is Nova also going to let everyone else know that this has occurred?
Well, let's see what they were trying to steal first. Nova notices that the medical tools that they were stealing were Thoron generators. And from the silence... let's have a look at what Memory Alpha has to say about Thoron generators. So, their medical use hasn't been established as such, so there's some sort of beneficial medical device, but the radiation they give out has been known to be effective in blocking Federation tricorder scans.
Okay.
So, with that information, before we go any further with this scene, I am now going to take us back to engineering.
So what was the weird thing we found in the core
Well,
when the credits rolled?
when the credits rolled, the last thing that Vibers saw before he put on the last piece of patching that he and Edwards were doing to the fusion reactor was he swears he saw something moving inside the glowing core of the reactor, basically. Meanwhile, Dr. Bertram and Lieutenant Ori have been looking for survivors and, of course, have found none. Captain Andrews and Commander Thazanan have been putting out the fires. So, for the moment, fires are now put out. These areas where they can be. But the place is still in a bad shape. However, what would you like to do?
Lieutenant Ori, I think there might be something in this core. I don't think it's supposed to be there. I think I'm going to be busy on containment for a while, but it might be something you might want to look at.
Absolutely, thank you, Doctor. And he'll mosey on over.
Wait, Doctor? Commander?
Oh, sorry.
Got a doctorate or something.
Yeah, he's been promoted, it's fine.
Yes.
Would Doctor be a promotion or would it be demotion?
What do you think, Gareth?
Doctor's not a rank, it's a position, because technically my rank is Commander, it's just that my position is Doctor.
It's a position or a level of qualification if it's not medical.
Doctor and Commander.
He's a Doctor of Orders.
With a
previous life.
with a Bachelor of Arts in sexy scuttling. Well, that brought that to a halt.
No, it would be Bachelor's Performance Art subcategory Sexy Scuttling. No, Sexy
I
Scuttling
thought you
was
got a
the
PhD
thesis.
in that.
No, that was the thesis.
Okay.
So, containment and making sure everything else is stable and nothing else in the engineering area is about to explode.
Makes sense.
Alright, well, containment's a bit of an issue at the moment because most of the equipment in here is wrecked and then some. So, cursory grants obviously is not going to do anything, so having a look around to make sure any of the coolant tanks haven't ruptured or anything like that. Trying to get any of the control systems working again is going to be next to impossible because they've all basically gone bang. So,
Right.
you've got a hell of a lot of ruined machinery here. However, alright, let's do what you can manage to determine with what's going on here. From Ori, can I get... For the moment, can I just have a control and science check from Ori, please? Nothing... Actually... No specific focus, I think, applies at this point in time, so... Pure talent alone.
Control science, you said?
Yes, please. Okay, that wasn't bad. 2 successes. The fluctuations Ori is detecting inside of the fusion's core, the fusion reactor's core, is not unusual considering everything in here just exploded. But your scans definitely indicate that the overload definitely seemed to happen in the fusion core first and rippled outwards. So this definitely seems to be where everything started. More than that, you're not sure yet. You'd have to do a bit more investigation. Now, Sean, did you say that Nova would be reporting what happened in sickbay?
She'd probably attempt it, but she doesn't know if it's working, because I guess she's not heard from anybody either. So.
Okay. So at some point, whilst everybody is looking around the engineering section and trying to discern what's not broken, and I can give you a clue there, not much, is not in shambles, you do eventually get a comm from Nova saying that Orions, Thoron generators, etc.
If that's the case, then Kef will be told very nicely to that security team that we were sending to them. Yeah, we're definitely sending them out.
Right. Okie dokie.
Probably get a spike of anxiety for the Doctor from that thing he put on Edward's neck if it's still within range. Yeah, I imagine probably
Well, you're
is.
definitely within range.
Yeah.
The Doctor's right there.
Yeah, I was going to presume that there's he's still got that stuff in his bloodstream, I'd imagine. to a degree, so it's as a whole.
Yeah.
That'd be a big spike, a noticeable spike.
Matt, just checking as well. I think last week I said I handed out samples of pyrolichen to the group. Because of the
Yes, you did.
radiation thing. Yeah.
The only one person who here doesn't have the benefit of your Hierolycan is indeed Rask Engineer. Lieutenant
I didn't
Commander
take
Rask
mine.
Engineer.
Yeah, I didn't take
I was going to say.
Oh yeah, you did
I
deliberately
think
not take
Bertram-
one, didn't you?
I think you said that. However, Bertram hadn't actually said out loud. I talked back out of character, but Bertram hadn't actually said he only had 6.
Okay, well, your decision to do whatever it is you want to do with it.
Essentially, I'd pass that to the others, and when I see the resident engineer, I'd give one to him as well, telling him it will help with the radiation. It's my task to make sure the others are medically kept up, especially in an emergency situation like this.
I thank you, Doctor, says Rask Engineer.
So when this is all over, we'll make sure that you return it so that it can be cleansed properly. If it absorbs too much, it'll eventually be overwhelmed, but it shouldn't be for a while.
Well. So, anything else anybody else would like to do? According to what the captain has just said, there's now going to be security teams being formed and beaming onto the station, but of course the sheer amount of damage is going to make getting around difficult.
No, the Orion ship.
Onto the Orion ship. Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, they're locking them down. If they're stealing off of a Federation outpost, they ain't getting away from it. I would also tell Kev to put a tractor beam on the ship, or on their ship, and potentially release the docking clamps and pull it away from the station.
Captain, before we were able to send security teams to the ship, they raised their shields, but we now have them in a tractor beam. We've requested docking clamps be released, but we're getting no response from operations. The Orion's ship is still very much locked into the station. What would you like us to do?
Can we be sure?
Go on, Jan.
Can we be sure there's only one Orion ship?
Good point. What were you saying,
Captain, I
Dennis?
can handle things in it here in the engineering area. Navis, I could do with a engineering team beamed over, plus a few spare emergency consoles if we've got them.
You know those consoles that the Klingons keep wrecking. We need the spares.
Well, it's either that or give me as many pads as you've got in the supply closet. I can wire something up out of pads and get something that we know if this place is gonna explode. Right.
Okay. Okay, a small security, a small engineering team arrives as per request.
Right, damage control positions. We've got fires in multiple places. We've got a core that's barely stable, and every single coolant tank needs to be manually verified because the sensors are suspect.
Alright, can I get an insight and command check from you, please?
Might be able to jury-rig a few things in here for a number of scenes, depending on how much momentum people want me to throw at it. Just thinking that for the Navis. Ignore me, that's not for that, I was just for talking to Navis about what we're doing here.
Yep, okay. Pairs are all temporary, last a single scene, that's fine. Yeah, Mike, you rolled a complication there.
Legion of Honor! I'll spend mine if needs be.
Oh, you are actually there, yeah.
Do you have a Legion of Honor still available to use? Yes, you do. Okay. Smart beans, so we ignore that. But you got one success overall. So just as the security teams, sorry, I said it again, not security, engineering teams are all starting to fan out, Ori gets a flicker of something on his empathic senses. Just as he's about to walk away from the core to let the engineers start doing their patch jobs and repair routines, Ori gets a faint sense of hunger. Meanwhile,
So,
let me see.
I have on going off.
Caval, do you want?
Is he
Caval, do
getting
you want to head?
oil?
Okay, right. 2 people at once there. So Davis started speaking. Hold on to that mic, and we'll see what else is going on here. Davis, you were saying first.
Nope, I was on mute.
It was
Webby.
me, but
Oh, it was
I
you,
go
okay.
first.
Go on then, Captain.
It's alright, let Mike go first.
Let Mike go first. Okay, Mike, it's on you. What were you saying? Sorry.
Find that's coming from around the core itself, or general
You're not
area.
sure. You think it was coming from the core, though, but that's kind of crazy.
I would let Commander Vibers know that.
Okay.
I guess there's no... Wait, we got some Bravo... Oh, we don't have any Bravos. Darn it.
Yes, the chief, as you might
that's you.
imagine, is a bit busy at this moment in time.
Edwards, give him a hand. That's as far as Vibers is going on this one. His hands are full.
Delegating. Nice. So there was an
Can he do
Oh, I
like
can't
a
move, he's
deeper
reporting.
sense?
Say that one more time, Mike.
Well,
Sorry,
I
you
can
kind of
help.
faded out for me there. Mike, could you repeat that? Nope. Mike having mic problems. Okay.
I think he was. I think he said along the lines of, "Can you try and reach out further?"
Sensing deeper. Okay. Then in that case, yeah, you can absolutely try again. Same roll again. If you want to buy extra dice to try and make it, or even push in a determination.
If I spend a determination, what do I get? Like a...
You will get a dice that
not
automatically
20.
rolls a 1. So you'll get at least 2 successes just from
I'll
that.
spend a determination.
It goes in the value.
Alright, I spent a determination. What do
So
I roll?
Same roll once again, insight and command. Using your empathic
Anything but
senses.
command. Well, guess there's no focus here.
Not at present, no, which is just as well. You would have rolled determination, which got you 2 successes. With that, you definitely get the sense that the hungry sensation you're getting is certainly coming from within the core.
Somebody's got to tell about this. Anything I can do otherwise to investigate?
Well,
I mean, have we
entirely
checked
up to
life
you.
forms in there? Well, yeah. I would like to maybe scan and see if I can see some sort of life form.
Is all I mentioning this out loud?
Is Ori mentioning this out loud?
You're breaking up a bit, Mike.
Yeah, you are probably.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Cool. Thank you.
Right.
Yes.
So
Yes,
I'm
he
guessing
is.
that means that the good doctor wants to get involved here.
Yep. I'm thinking about going for bit of like xenobiology in, given that if there is something in the warp core, it's not going to be a standard life form. It could be anything from sort of like a dimensional anomaly to some sort of energy-based life form to a purely sort of like empathic parasite or something.
Okie dokie. I'm gonna also let.
Oh yeah, I would
Ori-
definitely let the doctor know.
Thank you.
I'm gonna let or I do reason and science while I'm letting Bertram do reason and medicine, but Ori gets to use quantum physics as a focus.
Yay.
The difficulty
Focus.
is 3.
I don't care for that, sir.
Wow, okay. So anything the doctor adds is extra.
Am I assisting or am I
Yes.
rolling the 2 of them? Yep, okay. I roll a natural one.
Alright then. Okay, so both the Doctor and Ori working together scan the fusion reactor, and of course you're getting the kind of scans you expect from the fusion reactor. You're getting energy, actually not a lot, a diminished amount of energy, which makes sense considering the whole thing went bang not long ago. But there's this momentary fluctuation in the energy signature inside of the reactor, and as you scan, Ori notices that the energy output of the fusion reaction going on inside of the core diminishes by a measurable amount. With Bertram actively scanning for a life form, maybe an energy-based life form of some sort, at that point the medical tricorder still isn't picking anything up. But that's when Ori gets an idea to try rotating some of the frequencies with which you're scanning within a certain set of energetic bandwidths, and eventually you do hit upon a return signal. When you do hit upon that return signal, you realise it's actually more than one return signal. It's more than 2. All of a sudden it's 5. But then you notice it's actually 10.
Transporter pattern, like things.
No.
Like, you know how we can store people in the transporter buffers?
It doesn't
Could it be
appear to
that?
be anything like that, no. There are
Well, I
these...
would definitely let the doctor know
Yeah.
what
Okay,
you
cool.
know.
So it's difficult for either of you to fully determine, but it looks like there's some things inside the core.
Doctor will say the whatever it is, the medical tricorder isn't able to pick anything up.
Did Ori say how he's doing this?
One imagines.
My tricorder.
I know you said specifically going through frequencies. That's
Yes.
got me thinking
Scanning
of the
different bandwidths of energy, yes.
bands.
What's the
Right.
thought here, Alex?
Would use the same wavelength that you got it on as a basis for just an open blast to try and get a reading on everything, like sonar. Basically trying to just bounce a signal just to identify the number.
So you
Rather
want
than
to
a
create
constant
some
hit.
kind of big old burst of energy along that frequency.
Basically, it's like literally just a sonar, just to see what comes back. So we're not scanning simply for what's there, but we're seeing is what gets hit by that frequency, what bounces back. So we actually have a number of whatever it is that's in there. 'Cause if
Well,
it's scanning it, it's changing the numbers of it potentially.
Didn't we just get 10 unique signals coming back?
Or is it still growing? Or did it stop at 10?
Yeah, when Ori last took a reading, it seemed to stop at 10.
Oh, okay, never mind. So I thought it was implying it was still it was still growing, and he stopped. Just stop it from. Okay, so no, in that case then no. If it stopped at 10, ignore my idea. I thought the implication was it was growing the longer he's scanning it.
Well, you don't know. You could try and confirm that hypothesis if you want to. Or you can just go along with assuming that what Ori got was it.
Did Ori say aloud that he got the sense of hunger? I can't remember.
I seem to recall he did mention it. Which
I'll
was why
give
he
it
and
another-
the doctor were going to scan for a life form.
Yeah. Try scanning it again and see if it increases. If it is, that would go with the thought of hunger. Maybe it's something feeding and multiplying. But give it, yeah, it was like use the same kind of bandwidth. Give it a scan himself and just to test the hypothesis to see if the number goes up.
Okey-doke. So once again...
Is this stuff paused for anyone else, or is it just me?
No, I've unpaused it. Is it
Okay,
still
so
paused for other people?
Yes, I can't move.
Curious.
His, when
I'm
his
good.
highlight background is green, whereas the rest of ours brown. I don't know if he's on a, like a different setting or something.
Release. What happens now? No, I'm still on pause. I don't know why it's. I might have to come out and come back in again. I can get into the character. I can't move.
Curious. Okay.
I don't really need to move at the minute, though. You can just roll.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So, reason and science checks, once again, to do those calculations to see if there are indeed a number of individual creatures in there, or reason and medicine if you're going to contribute that way.
Who's leading?
Well, Ori did so well last time, it would make sense for him to dictate
Okay.
what frequency to use.
Okay, that dice was just black for me. I couldn't actually see what I rolled. Oh,
You
there
got
it is.
16. You can, if you want, try and re-roll that with what you got. Ori got double 8s.
No, I am okay with that.
If Dr. Bertram wants to try and add back to it.
One success.
Cool. 3 successes this time, which was pretty much what I wanted from you. Okay. The reason your tricorders weren't picking up anything at first is because the life forms that are coming from inside the core are slightly out of phase. Hence why quantum mechanics worked for Ori when he picked them up. Quantum physics, pardon me. By cycling through the different frequencies, he caught one that they were actually resonating on. But they are, for the most part, it seems they are slightly out of phase, which would explain how something like this would get past the safety measures. As you are scanning them, you get a definitive number. There do appear to be 10 lifeform signatures within the core, and as the core is noticeably diminishing in output, or at the very least its fusion reaction seems to be going down, these lifeform readings are getting bigger.
Ah, there we are. Now it's working. I can move myself.
So a likely assumption here could be that there are some sort of life form within the fusion core that is the fusion reactor that is do appear to be feeding on it.
Okay, so it's not multiplying, but it is feeding.
Commander, is it worthwhile looking at Davidian life signs?
Ooh,
And
interesting thought.
Commander Fazanan, do you reckon you and I and a couple of security guards should go and have a nice chat with our Orion guests whilst they're still locked to the space station?
I think that is a good idea. I wonder if we can. Yeah, I guess they are stuck and they're under tractor beam, so I guess we don't really need to add any additional stay-at-home protocols.
Nova isn't far from when those guys bolted, so it's entirely possible that your best chance of knowing where these guys might be on the station would be to pretty much link up with Nova and see if you can't catch them.
Just heading straight to their ship.
Just heading straight to their ship. Okey-dokey.
Yeah, getting a security team from the Navis beamed on board the space station, and we just cut through the bulkhead.
Yep, and that does assume that there's only one ship.
It does.
Okay.
But they would have to be. They'd have to, unless the Orions have stolen a cloaking technology.
Okay.
Well, there was a case of Orions on a Klingon ship.
There was. Okay, so the engineering guys have got their hands full down here. Ori, Edwards, and Bertram are here trying to figure out what's going on with the life form. What's Nova doing at the moment now that the some of the guys have gotten away?
We should have been in hot pursuit of the ones that got away.
Awesome source. Okay.
Probably assuming that they're heading towards their ship, but kind of wherever the path leads.
Heading towards their ship was probably a good idea. Okay. Alright. So, Nova is in hot pursuit, and security team meeting Thazanan and Andrews at the entrance bulkhead to the Orion ship. That was the plan, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Also get the Navis to start doing long-range scans of the area to see if there's any tachyons, tetrayons, etc. potential signs of cloaked vessels. And if there is, go and say hello to it.
Okay, so Andrews and Thazanan kind of beam away. So what I'm going to do is I am actually going to put you on the same map as Nova. So I'll switch you over to sickbay, even though technically you're in the corridors of the station at the moment. But as for the other guys, let's take Andrews and Thazanan away from there. We will come back to what's going on in the engineering section in a little bit. So, Nova's still in hot pursuit with Unit Hello drifting behind. One of the security teams that were dispatched to the station, and some of the remaining security officers that were posted there, not many of them, took the Orion crewman that you managed to capture into custody. So he is currently being held elsewhere. I'm just going to put him over to the one side for the time being. Andrews and Thazanan meet outside of the docking umbilical, where the Orion ship is currently housed, and you have your security team there waiting. One of them has got a phaser drill ready to try and basically cut through the locking mechanism on the Orion ship. Your security members will say that it might take a couple of minutes to get through the bulkhead. It appears a little sturdier than a cargo hauler of this type should be, which in itself is suspicious. It's around about that time that you get a message from Keth back on the Navis.
Keth to Captain Andrews. We are just getting some reports from those who are still active on the station that a number of lockers on subsection 6 appear to have been broken into. Sensors aren't detecting anyone in that section, however. You did say that the Orions stole Thoron generators, yes?
That's correct, Commander.
It's entirely possible that they're using these generators to get away from or to fool sensor scans. I am accessing what lockers, supplies are on that subsection. Captain, according to this, that main section is where the majority of biomimetic medical gel is stored on the station.
Now, anybody who knows anything about Star Trek lore will know that biomimetic gel is extraordinarily valuable. It's also very dangerous because it's stuff that can be used in things like genetic manipulation. But it's hard to come by, and in the Federation is a controlled substance. So only licensed individuals, usually medical practitioners, are those who are allowed to store and use biomimetic gel. So it appears that the Orions are using Thoron generators to try and steal stuff.
Shall we go and investigate? Let the security team have fun cutting through the door. Shall we bring,
Go on.
shall we bring in the big guns, Mr. Commander?
Sure.
You mean
Send
lefty
it
and
to
righty? Sending Claude. I was going to say, I was half expecting Thazanan to go, what? You mean my left and my right arms?
Yeah, alright, okay, yeah, that's fine. 2 of us versus 3, no? Yeah, that's fine. Let's go for it.
I'm just
Okay.
trying to figure out what was their exit strategy.
I have a slight idea for potentially an easier way of cutting through into the ship if they're having problems. Given Edwards' history, combine that with Caval's knowledge of starship recognition there, would I be able to have an idea of potentially what kind of tricks that might have he's been exposed to from his past with it, to help identify an area that might not be a hidden compartment or an armoured thing on these type of ships?
Somewhere that's easier and faster to drill into from maybe the outside, you mean?
Because, like, I imagine there's going to be, like, hidden compartments, maybe extra armouring on certain things to either get to block out sensors, that sort of thing. Usual smuggler tricks, that kind of... It's more of a log shop. I don't really have any kind of things to back up apart from he's dealt with a lot of Orions, and aside from that, we don't have a Vibers and his connections here to advise on where contraband might be.
Well, Edward does have metallurgy.
That too, actually, yes.
So he would be able to give you a good idea, but also using Thazanan's starship recognition could also, and of course small craft focuses could help. So yeah, reason and con from Thazanan, reason and engineering from Edwards.
It's like here and here. That's probably where you got extra compartments, increasing the thickness of the prow.
Who's leading this? What's because Thazanan's got reason 9, con 5.
No,
Edwards
where am I?
has got reason 11, engineering 4. So it's kind of a 50-50 seesaw there as to who would be the better to lead. Could be either.
Was Edward's idea, so I think he can lead.
Okay.
I was going to say he's got an axe to grind, so this is an opportunity.
I got an axe to grind, and I'm going to grind it right in your port nacelle. Oh, that's a good roll. Very good roll from Thazanan. And a not bad result from Edwards too. So between the two of them, they reckon that probably one of the thinner sides to cut through will more than likely be on the exterior. A lot of these old cargo haulers have got obviously these they have these cargo pods that kind of slot in, and so these haulers can take anywhere from 1 to about 9 or 10, I think, but there's always a point of connection. And this particular cargo hauler, you remember from seeing it when you pulled up to the station, didn't have all of its cargo pods fitted. So there are basically the connecting points where there would be a cargo pod connecting to could be thin enough to basically drill through, but it would have to be done on the exterior of the ship, so the security team would have to go in the EVA suits and take
too
the ship
much
from
of
the
a
outside.
risk for me personally to send them out in EVA suits to cut in when the ship's not going anywhere. We can just spend the time to cut through the bulkhead into the main bit.
But on the off chance, there's another place you can go to if you wanted to do an emergency breach. So you now have another option if you needed it. In the meantime, I'm going to quickly zip us back to Nova, who's been pretty much running all over the shop, trying to keep up with these guys. They're doing a very good job of leading Nova on a kind of a zigzagging path, but for the moment, Nova's able to use her empathic abilities to get an idea of where they are. And as she's rounding a couple of corners going through various tunnel systems, suddenly the two minds, or the two emotions that two. Let me try that again. The two Orions that you've been sensing their emotions as they've been busily running about the station, all of a sudden increase in number to about 5. So they appear to have met up with somebody. You are near a junction point, and they all seem to have stopped. So, you don't think they've noticed you yet. Would you like to let other folks know that you have a quintet of Orions nearby to you?
Yeah, because I think we should update the fact that there's more than original. So she would probably reporting Jason too. So.
Cool. I'm going to assume, if I may, that the ones who answer the call are Andrews and Thazanan, because they were looking to find these guys anyway. And the junction point that Nova reports the extra mines at is very close to where the biomimetic gel is stored. Now, the advantage you've got at the moment is that the biomimetic gel, being a controlled substance, is in a locked and secured area of the station. But there are always ways around such things, so I am going to throw us momentarily to this corridor section here. Now, Nova reckons that these guys are not far away. You definitely, peeking around the corner, recognize the captain, although she's actually dressed in actual clothes this time. A crew jumpsuit rather than in the tiny amounts of very little that she was in last time. And she appears to be supervising some kind of action as one of her cohorts kind of moves out the way for her. You can also see, emanating from around the corner, what appear to be the flash of like a welding torch or a cutting torch of some sort being utilized. So, what would you like to do?
Maximum carnage.
Yes, sir.
Just go in, guns blazing, fists swinging.
I probably would say so. We know that they've stolen something already, so we can assume what they're going after.
Okay. So, I would like you guys to probably working together, quick to action. Okie dokie dokes. So, you can either just use quick to action and just go for it. In fact, let's do that. Brought attention to it. Let's do it. You don't have much time, let's just go, 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 go. Time to act is now. Okay, cool. So you can ignore the normal cost of retaining the initiative, so this essentially becomes your surprise round. So you get to act first because you got the drop on these guys. So let's put this into a bit of action. And who wants to go first? Out of you guys.
How far away are they?
They are within the next zone. So a fast action will get you there.
What are we feeling? Are we all feeling combat? Are we all feeling close combat? Or are we all feeling shoot?
I would.
Close combat.
Yep.
Close combat's my vote.
Right.
Okay.
You can shoot. I also did. I've let him keep the phaser because I don't know.
Yep.
Like, keep the phaser. Right. Okay. Let's.
Hey, he picked it up. It says me.
Finders keepers. Okie dokie. Maybe I should have made that the new value. Okay, so we've got Andrews activating Voiced. Okie dokie. So up Andrews runs, much to the surprise of the Orions as they hear this pounding of feet on metal grating for the good of the Federation. That's just Andrew's battle cry. It's not a value or anything. That's just something she yells every time she goes into battle.
See if I keep my determination.
I think something along the lines of I cast fist.
Yep, exactly that.
Right, so going after the closest guy. Physical enhancement. Cool. So, before attempting a task, you may choose to take 3 challenge dice in stress to add a single d20 to your dice pool.
Yeah.
Okay. 3 challenge dice. 1, 2, 3. Actually, let me do it this way, because otherwise I won't see what the results are. I will roll it from this lady here for no other reason than... Okay, that's not bad. That's 2. Doesn't say anything about effects, so that's 2 stress to basically overpower your bionic arm.
And it's daring security, isn't it?
It's daring and security for fisticuffs, so it's going to be daring and security for both parties. Oh, I got quite a good one there.
I ain't going for him.
Oh, I do beg your pardon.
I'm going for the captain.
Going for the captain. Let me re-roll that then.
She was talking up about how useless men are, so...
We wouldn't want to disprove her.
Oh, I get to roll another dice actually as well.
So you got 4 successes. Pajatenko only got 2, so you got 2 above what's needed, and you've got a full momentum pool.
It's an extra d20 from the stress count, isn't it? The challenge die that gets from it.
Let's go back and have a read. Any injuries caused by this damage is resolved after the effects of the attacks. Multiple dice may be bought in this way, but damage is added together. So buying 2 dice inflicts 6 challenge dice of damage. Buying 3 dice inflicts 9 challenge dice of damage.
It adds an extra d20. So I think that's
11.
a success.
That's
Yes,
a
that's
success.
another 5 successes.
5 successes. So you've got 3 over and above what Pajatenko got, so you can add that to damage. I've just realised the stress track is not visible. What's going on there? 4 successes to effect, Okie Spooky. Along with 1, 2, 3 extra, so that's 7 and 3 effects. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to spend 3 threat as she dives out of the way to avoid injury. So, that's Andrews. Who of Nova or Thazanan want to go next?
Thazanan go because we've already had some fights.
Give Cabal a chance to catch up.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Cabal, Thazanan, you are up.
He will go... I think over here just to cover the captain's back to make sure these guys don't flip him behind.
Okay. It's this guy over here that appears to be using a plasma torch of some sort to cut into the bulkhead here. He appears to be trying to expose wiring. But if you're covering the captain's back, then you've got this guy very nicely by the side here. Block him as you come past.
Yeah, I shall use my wisdom tool.
So not so much block him, so much as open him up. Shing!
Yeah. I'm trying to get another dagger. I've got a Romulan dagger, so time for an Orion dagger.
This is becoming a pattern with all of you.
He just hasn't made a point enough.
I shall give you a point of threat.
Okay. Thank you very much. Ooh, hello.
Then need to reroll.
No,
Four
it's unit
successes.
hello.
Not just any hello. Right, so I got a 10 and a 7. You got 4, I got 2, so you got 2 over and above. What was inflicted there? So that's a 2 extra. You get added to damage.
Right.
I can't see those. But 10 successes! 3 effects.
It's vicious.
It's a vicious weapon, so that's actually 13. My god, I think the guy's dead.
The name of the Federation got someone.
He
The
died
guy
the way
basically
he
got
lived.
opened up as the Clazerman came past him.
Died
Verbal
the way
club as he
lived.
clutches his neck as he
Being
falls down.
worse than Carval has a name.
Well then, Nova, your turn.
Oh, I guess I get the other side of the captain. Try and take out this guy.
Ooh boy, leftovers. Okay, we are going fisticuffs. So I get 2 successes. And, ooh, Nova! Not her usual self today. Luckily these guys haven't pulled any weapons yet, so that's going to be an unarmed strike from this guy. I get 2, so Nova suffers 2 stress and a knockback. So it's pushed backwards. Unit, hello.
Guess just shooting at the same guy.
They can move in to get a better angle if it really wants to, as it floats along like an Imperial probe droid. Yes, that's our first cross-franchise reference for the evening. Was it the first? No successes. I
mean,
think
we did talk
know...
an awful lot about Nightmare earlier.
Oh, that's a good point. Oh, apparently we upgraded to the old phaser pistols. Well, why wouldn't you? Yes, Unit Hello obviously needs some combat protocols loaded into it, so... Nevertheless, the Orions now get to act, so... Let's see, obviously the captain is... The captain's going to want to do something first. What has she got? What's this? Ooh, oh really? Okie dokie.
Oh. I'm jumping up here.
Yeah, let's go with captain on captain.
Oh my.
As she spends 2 threat rather than 3 to gain the effective point of determination, she is going to draw her own dagger and go for Captain Andrews. Okay, 4 successes versus Andrews' 1 success. Okay, so I got 3 extra. Seven successes, 2 effects. It's a dagger, so it's vicious, which means essentially we get 7, 8, 9. Does Andrews want to... Oh no, she can't. She's used all her determination. Okay, so this is 9 stress and an injury. So, yo. So, I'm going to put an injury as a long gash that she's now got across her torso. Gallantry. Once permission, whenever you would suffer damage, halve the amount of the attack hazard. Okay, so the injury remains, but the stress is reduced. So what did I say? It was 9, so it's actually got back. 1, 2, 3. There we are. Okay, damage reduced. Cool beans. You've all had your turns, visit. Then let's see. This guy is the one next to Andrews, but he just got attacked by Nova, so he draws his knife and goes in for Nova. Nova gets to roll daring and insecurity again, please. Ooh, I roll rubbish. And Nova with a comeback. Nova manages. So you get +2. So an extra 2 challenge dice added to this, which you get nothing with. If you want, you can spend a point of momentum to re-roll any of those blank dice, of which there are 4.
I think it's worth it.
Yep, cool. Reroll 4. So reroll results when it asks about dice. 4! Cool, much better. So we've got 3 and 2, which will become 6 and 4. So he goes right down and basically gets pump kicked way the hell back this way. As he lands sprawling on the floor. So Nova essentially saw him coming, jumped up onto, grabbed a pipe on the ceiling, lifted her legs out of the way of his slash, and then just basically drop-kicked him on the way down, propelling him backwards. This guy's turn. He's noticed Fazanan just killed somebody and draws his disruptor pistol, although he's also backing away.
It's like they're taking no prisoners.
So this guy's going to try shooting Fazanan with a disruptor pistol, and I get 0, so it's a big ol' miss.
Intimidation.
Jeez. Get away from me! This guy is, however, going to continue with what he was doing, which means he manages to finish carving out a section of the bulkhead, pulls it loose, and holds up some kind of what looks like pad, a very chunky data pad. He's now trying to decide which of the various wires to connect these clippers to. So, with that in mind, we move to round 2. So we move back into normal initiative now, so it's one of you, one of them, one of you, one of them, one of you, one of them. So whom of yourselves is going first? The Cap, the Knife Man, or the Luchador? Or indeed the Unitello?
Is anybody feeling it?
I'm feeling good, but don't have to go first.
Fazanan's taking his time. Okay.
All the tension.
Well, I don't know if Nova wants to capitalise on her moment of second wind, or if Webby wants the captain to engage the.
If nobody's claiming it, I'll take it as hello and shoot the guy with the data pad and disrupt him with all.
So, just to clarify, I didn't quite catch that. Is it Nova shooting the guy with the data pad?
No, hello.
Hello. Okay, cool. So, Hello has got a reasonable angle there. Looks up a teeny bit more in my. There we go. You might get a better one. So, control and security, difficulty 2. You do have momentum in the pool if you want to spend it. Hello also has determination.
Yeah, it's for determination.
Two successes and on the money hit. Nice, 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 nice. Sadly, that means that you got on the money, so don't add any extra to damage, and it is only a Type 2 phaser, but as before, you can spend a point of momentum to re-roll those 2 empty dice if you wish.
No, I think it's done its job. It's got the effects.
Okay, so 1 effect, 1 stress. Didn't actually tune the phaser to do anything, so that was just 1 stress, but lets the guy know you're there, so that's cool. One of them. Buying time for them, so Captain Parjitchenko is going to maintain her assault on Captain Andrews. So in is once again going to spend 2 threat to gain an effective determination. So, gets 4 successes again. So, Andrews, daring and security, please.
You're on mute.
3 successes. So there's a difference of 1 there in the Orion's favour. Sadly, once again, we're getting a dagger to the body. That one wasn't a fantastic roll, but 4 stress rather than an injury, so... Badoop, I got you there, Webby, I did it for you. So there's a couple of close slashes there. Some of Andrews' tunic is being cut up, but otherwise she escapes injury, but she still has that long gash. Who of you is going next?
It's got this as an another captain.
Yep.
Sorry, Captain, I don't mean to interrupt, but
You some trouble here.
I'll
Fazanan
give you a point. Oh, 2. But I did give you a point of threat, so I can reroll.
Point of threat. Okay, so you can reroll.
Just one failure.
This is where I'm only rolling 2, so let's see. I didn't score that brilliantly either, so you still get 2 successes over my 0. So you can bank 1 or put them both into damage. Over to you.
Let's. Oh, the Jenka's still looking healthy, so damage it is.
Damage. Okay, that's a lot of blank dice.
I'll spend the momentum to reroll.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them are blank, so.
I can't remember, depending on the system, I can either reroll all of them.
I think you can reroll all of them. You can reroll. Reroll the 5 blank ones, that's what I said earlier with Sean, so. Okay, much better. So we've got 11 successes, 3 effects. Ouch. At which point she is spending her point of determination to dive the hell out of the way of that. Whoosh. She has a very alarmed look on her face as Fazanan comes in swinging really, really well with the Yushan Tor, and so it's a very fast back pedal to get out of the way of his very precise, very dangerous swings.
I think I've still got a minor action.
Yep.
Last action. Minor.
They become minor actions in 2nd edition, and they're fast actions in 1st, so they're interchangeable, really.
Can I just step forward?
Steps over the body of the one he killed earlier. Cool. Maintains contact. Alright then. Let me see. So the next Orion to be activated is this fellow here, who regains his feet with his quick action and puts himself between his captain and Captain Andrews. And is going
I
to
think it's time to deep strike Clawt into this.
Yes, wouldn't that be interesting? Andrews once again has to give daring and security, please. I get 2 successes. You got 2 successes, so it's a close fight with no obvious winner. So Andrews is able to deflect all the incoming blows and move the knife out of the way enough that it's a no-score draw. So, who of you wants to go next, Andrews or Nova? Bearing in mind, Webby is muted. Excuse me.
I suppose Nova could try and shift him out of the way so the captain can have a go at the captain again.
Alrighty. Nova comes blaring in. Like me. Food's fighting. Alright. Try and push this guy out the way to clear the way for the captain on captain action. So I get 1 success. Nova gets 1 success as well. So this guy's holding his own. As of course, you want to spend a point of determination to re-roll the 19.
No, I'll keep determination for now.
Okay. So this guy is doing his job and is trying to hold everybody off from affecting his captain, which leaves us with... Who do we do? Who do we do? Who do we do? Let's do this fella. He is going to attempt to gain access to the security system. Nearly managed it, but he doesn't. So those who are nearby see that he clips the two clippers onto the exposed wire. He starts tapping commands into the pad, but it comes up with a red denied. So you've got to time it. Andrews' turn. What's Andrews doing? Moving up there. So are you taking on the captain, or are you trying to take out the guy who's trying to gain security access? Webby? Hello? Anybody else hear him, or is it just me?
No, he's gone quiet.
You might have to type it out, Webby.
I always knew the captain was a strong silent type.
She's a silent witness.
Taking on the captain, she wants to play dirty. I'll play dirty. Alrighty. How define Andrews is playing dirty, or you're just gonna sock her in the face?
Sorry, that's terrible.
Star Cross. You may choose to double your focus range. Ha ha ha. Which I assume is the advanced hand-to-hand combat focus. So, oh, and the Medal of Honor. Once permission, the character may gain 2 bonus momentum on a single task. Okay. Ha ha ha! I see where this is going. Very cool. Using my dagger. So you're using the Klingon Duktag.
I can see just a fist coming out the other side of this captain's head, the amount of momentum and things he's throwing in.
Alright then, so this is daring and security as before. With the captain throwing this much into it, I think she's going to have to throw something into it too. So the Orion captain gets, ooh, icky, 3 successes in total. Go for it, Webbs. Show him who's boss. Who the captain? Oh,
Only 2?
Only 2. But the range is doubled. So security is 5 to 10. Was only 2 successes. So I mean, if somebody else wants to lend. What was that? Sorry.
7 counter the 2 because of the Starcross.
That's a good point. That's a good point. The Starcross means it's a draw. Thank you, Sean. I really missed that. Okay, so it's a No score draw. So what I'll say is you didn't expend the Starfleet Medal of Honor because you didn't actually score a success. So that can still be in play. Unless, of course, somebody else wants to spend their determination to give the captain a determination.
I'm sure I can do it.
Retroactively use momentum? Well, somebody is granting you their determination, so that might be better. Thazanan uses some words of encouragement to grant you a 2. What did we just lose? Buddy. Oh, he's back. Okay, so
I'd much rather use the momentum rather than the determination, because the momentum is already if I re-roll and fail. At the moment it's a draw, so the momentum gives the extra dice, which is the potential.
If you want, okay. So Caval can have his determination back. Spend a point of momentum, roll an extra dice, and see how we do. Okay, that was much better. So you've got 2 successes and 3 switches of 5, which means you got over the 3, which means you got 2 over above what she got. So you also gain an additional 2 bonus momentum on top of that. So that's 4 extra you can throw into damage if you really want to.
Yep.
You're using the Klingon duck tag, so let's show them how it's done. Successes, 1 effect, which means it's actually 9. That is 4, 5, 6. Oh yeah, she down. She down, down, and down again. Defeated, not necessarily dead. Nice, 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 nice. Big hits there. Very cool. Alright. That leaves the one Orion left on this turn who has just seen his captain go down. So, what's he gonna do? What's he gonna do? What's he gonna do? This guy's trying to break in, but now the captain's gone down. What's going down? Bit of revenge. Bit of revenge for his captain, but he's not quite so. Yep, 2 successes, so a disruptor pistol hit. Which scores, ouch. 7 successes, 2 effects, so that's actually 9. Do you have anything else that can lower the damage? Not sure you do after having used the it wasn't the Franco or Tactics, it's the other one. Once per mission, when you suffer damage, halve the amount inflicted by the hazard or attack. Cool. Oof. 9 becomes just 5. Which means, sadly, you do suffer another injury. Which means you're very close to going down, but that's a disruptor burn. 1 more injury and you're in very, very serious trouble. But this guy doesn't stick around to see how well he did as he hightails it for the horizon down this particular avenue. So that's everybody acted. Next round, probably the last. 2 of you is going first. Who wants it?
Can I go?
Okay.
Step over the captain and go for this. What's this guy?
Yep, the guy who's trying to hack into the security system, that's fine. Do it.
I shall also use a Star Cross.
Double your focus range, righty-hos. And hand-to-hand combat focus. Ooh, news.
That's a Legion of Honor.
So that's a Legion of Honor, but you also got 2 successes. This guy is not armed and he's busy doing something else, so the 2 successes definitely scores a hit, and you get an extra one on. You earn an extra point of momentum, which you can either bank or you can put in damage.
Let's do damage.
Damage. Eight successes, 3 effects. Ooh. Almost completely out. 3 effects.
Let me see the heck with that.
I'm going to say with those 3 effects, you basically push this guy into the bulkhead, which means his head ricochets off of it and knocks him unconscious. So there's 1 Orion who's fled, 1 Orion who's still here, who's not liking his chances at the moment. So it's this guy. What's he got? What's this mean? Assist another during combat. Well, that can't happen now because he's the only one left. Alright, this guy doesn't like his chances, so he just drops his knife, puts his hands up and steps back. Let's just change to this ambience. So, combat has officially ended. 1 has retreated, 1 has surrendered, the rest are all incapacitated. What would you like to do now? Now, those of you who lost stress, regain the stress that got taken from you. I believe Andrews had 1 point of stress she couldn't refill, and Nova had 3. Nova didn't take any damage that time, so Andrews goes back up to the stress she had before injury. But, yes, Andrews quite hurt. Bruised, slashed, and disruptor burns. So,
The doctor.
yes, needs to see a doctor. But you definitely thwarted their attempt at hacking into the security system, so this guy can be taken prisoner, and the other one, well, he's just going to be running around. So, in the immediate aftermath of this encounter, what would Thazanan, Andrews, and Nova like to do?
We need to figure out, I guess, what they were trying to do. I mean, then we see what systems they were trying to hack into.
Yeah, sure. I mean, a reason and security check would do that, and anybody of the 3 of you could attempt it. You've got security protocols, that would probably help. So we had 2 successes. Yeah, they were basically trying to locally cut the security locks to the medical bay that houses the biomimetic gel. So they were looking to hack into it from very close by, i.e. this service tunnel, in order to gain access to the security bay where the biomimetic gel is being kept. But looks like because you jumped them and didn't allow them to complete what they were doing, they weren't able to bypass the locking mechanism. So, and they've also left their Thoron generators here, so that guy who just ran away will be able to be picked up by sensors the moment he goes beyond the Thoron range. So nicely done. You solved your problems with fists and knives. And maybe
The Federation way.
or the Federation. Yes.
Well, I do have a value. The best traditions have to be kept.
Okay, so you've got one conscious prisoner you can take, and the rest are all unconscious. Are you securing them in the brig on Epsilon 19, or are you taking them to the Navis?
Probably on the space station, I think.
My only worry is this station systems have been compromised quite a bit.
But do we think it's these people that compromised it, or do we think it's something else afoot and they just tried to take advantage?
Even if they were just taking advantage, I mean the station is in a terrible state.
Yeah, I would agree. They're coming to the Navis, and they're being put on 24-hour watch.
Righty. Cold Cabal special. Alright, so it'll take a little bit of organising for that to happen, as the Thoron particles need to be basically cleared away for it to get
Or
a
just
better sense of it.
drag them along the floor. They get a couple of extra injuries if they're unconscious. Oh well.
They won't feel it, it's fine. So what we're going to
We're
do
not going
is...
up and down stairs, so it should be okay.
Bang, 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 bang. We find ourselves back in the engineering section. Excuse me. So the engineering guys have been repairing things as best they can during all the shenanigans that were going on with the security teams and the Orions. The security teams outside of the Orions ship, or at least that the docking umbilical linked to the Orion ship, is still currently being cut into by the security teams from the Navis, but you have now received the report back from Captain Andrews that the Orions who are trying to break into the biomimetic gel storage bay have been stopped. Meanwhile, you have got this strange conundrum to work on. Excuse me. So, any thoughts on how you would like to proceed next? So, Bertram, Morai, Vipers, Edwards. Anyone?
Well, in order to stop from eating, from devouring the rest of the power, we need to find a way of luring them out of the core.
That's right.
Okay, sounds like a good idea. Now, any idea on how you want to try doing that?
Starve them.
Starve?
It's the ethical thing to do.
Okay.
This is vaguely becoming Slider's plot. No, I'm actually thinking the same idea. Lower it enough so it's not as much of that place, but have something on the outside that's giving off enough energy to become a tasty snack. The problem is finding a way of containing them, and then it becomes a problem of is it ethical to keep them contained if they've actually got conscious thought.
All worthy questions. What do other people
Well,
think?
they're contained in the core right now. So couldn't we build something or have something that was resembling that?
Actually, could the transporter be able to, using the wavelength used to find them in the first place, use that as a way to lock onto them, then put them into a containment system once we've devised one? Would that be a bit much?
Where do these things usually live? In a star?
Well, isn't that an interesting thought?
Oh, the stars. It's aging, isn't it? It's aged quicker. Or am I thinking of a different plot line?
No, you are indeed correct. That's what Commander Johansson said was happening to the Asaran star.
Do you reckon they might have decayed to the point that they started looking for alternate energy sources?
Yeah,
And they found an artificial star that was just
Younger.
about ticking.
Can we sour the milk?
I mean, it's ethical if these are living, thinking creatures.
Well, I'm not saying hurt them. Just change the flavor of what they're eating so they don't like it as much.
It's still where they're going to go afterwards.
Question: Is the Navis experiencing any issues, and does it have any similar power sources, or is the power source on the Navis different enough that they're not being attracted to it?
They probably won't be attracted. The Navis runs primarily off the antimatter reactors, whereas older stations tend to use fusion. Something about won't accidentally blow up the entire station when kill everybody on board.
Is there any way the Navis could power enough of the stations that we could get the people off and evacuate it, and or turn off this fusion generator so that they at least don't cause more and more problems?
Anything's possible, as long as you have a try at it.
Yeah. Also, Bertram's kind of asking why was that because Bertram doesn't know about engineering.
Possible. We could try and get them off. We could, assuming the rest of the station is set up, is safe and sorted. One of the things we could do with a little bit of work is effectively get the Navis to power the station for a short time, and then we can, if we can get the ejection system working again, we could eject the core and then restart it, because it's not really ejecting the core, it's ejecting the contents of it. It would die out relatively quickly because there'll be no fuel going into it. But that's gonna take a decent amount of time to get the repairs in place. This station's held together with duct tape at the moment.
I mean, technically we have an Orion ship, but we won't be using their core very shortly.
If you want to go that way, then yes, there's that.
Use the Orion ship to sort of like power the station or lure the creatures away.
Edwards, are you a Starship expert still, or did you forget that?
No, I'm not.
Okay. Mr. Navis, I need a check on some details about that Orion ship.
Let's just say part of me
What's its
is
power
like
core?
is a bit vindictive. So if it works, it's like it could lure it away. But then again, the more ethical thing is what you suggested: use it to power the station.
Hands indicate typical fusion reactor.
Right.
Low warp flight system.
I think I know why they had engine problems. I think we found them. Okay. How do we get these guys?
Okay, so it's around about this time that not Edwards, he's already there. Nova, Thazanan, and Captain Andrews, and Unit Hello, of course. Let's not forget Unit Hello. Have deposited their new guests back on the Navis and are free to do assisting with whatever. Especially that now that these guys are starting to talk more about what's going on in the reactor.
Right, have we got things stable here now?
You've got things as stable as you possibly can. I mean, the whole thing's in a dreadful mess, and so you've shorn up the systems as best as you can.
Have we got a rudimentary control system so they can at least monitor things and stop it going boom?
You would think so, yes.
Right.
But too much stress on an already stressed system might result in some complications.
If we leave the engineering team here with their chief engineer Razak, well, he's now chief engineer, it might be an idea to reconvene the crew in the Navis briefing room and come up with a sensible plan.
Commander Captain, unless you require my presence specifically, I think I might be better served trying to help locate survivors of this disaster and try and treat any of the survivors that are left. Given the trouble we had with the turbolifting getting here, there may still be people trapped that we haven't been able to detect yet.
Carry on.
on with looking for survivors, Doctor.
Okay.
On that
Hey.
note, we might be better having our little plan here rather than waste transport capacity while they're still dealing with disaster. Right. Mr. Edwards had a really good idea, which might possibly work because the Orion ship has a fusion core. Mr. Edwards, do you want to explain?
Basically, using their power core to lure out the creatures that are devouring the power on the reactor. Dim it enough to make, well, it seem like a more palatable meal than the dying reactor, and just to lure it out. Because the Orions aren't going to be using their ship once we're through with it.
But what happens to the life forms after that power runs out?
Well, what we
That is
do
the issue.
is we tow the Orion vessel to the nearest uninhabited star system, disable their core, and then
Let it go to a new star.
they can go off to a new star. They're not going to affect anything else, and we tow the Orions to a nice neutral destination.
Do we
Their
actually know what the
destination-
creatures are?
You haven't identified what they are yet, but it's entirely possible there's something that hasn't been identified before.
The question to ask is the star that they're at still have life forms on it? Because if it does, then why don't we just take them home?
Question. It'd probably be good to have the Navis conduct some scans of the star then, if you want.
Still potentially need the ship to lure them out unless we have a way of locking onto them and teleporting them back to the star.
Oh, if it's this star that they're after, we just have to dim both power cores and they will go to the star. It's close.
That's fair. 3.
But
Orion
if this-
ship, ours, and this one.
Ours is a
Our
different
system doesn't
problem.
work on this power system.
We're also guessing it's only fusion currently.
What would prevent him from coming back to this fusion power core? If that's a possibility, then can't we just send the whole power core into the star?
Well, didn't the Orions say that they refueled?
They needed.
Actually,
They did
Where
say
did
they
they
needed to
refuel?
have. Sorry, go on.
Where did they say they refueled? Because they said they stopped here because they had engine trouble.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say, I'm wondering, how long has the star been dying? Has it started going down roughly when this lot showed up?
As far as anyone remembers, Commander Johansson saying at the dinner you had earlier, it's been going down for some time.
Okay.
So, what would you like to do next specifically? I mean, the first thing that comes to mind is Dr. Bertram just giving me a controlled medicine check just to see how well he helps out down in the medical bay and how many extra survivors he might come across.
Okie dokie. This is a medical check. Can I throw that in?
Sure. Once per mission, the difficulty of a single task by 1. Oh, okay.
Okay. And I'd spend determination as well, because this is representing him trying to save as many people as he can. Was it control of medicine?
Yes, please. Involving just as much using the medical tricorder to locate life signs as it does represent him using his skill at 5 successes. Bloody hell. Okay, yes. So, with Bertram's help, some of the search teams do come across people that they didn't realise were there before, mostly because the Orions were using their Thoron generators in the nearby vicinity, and therefore it stopped people being found. Thankfully, by Bertram joining the search and rescue operation, he goes back to a previous location and happens to find life signs and manages to treat them so that they are stable enough to be moved at sight, and helps them get back to the sickbay area on the station. So, yeah, well done. A good couple of lives saved there that would otherwise have been missed.
Live saved. Number 1 function achieved.
So as for the rest of you, what would you like to do first in order to try and help you get an idea as to what kind of actions you want to take in the future? You have a number of working hypotheses at the moment, so what would you like to investigate first to see what might work out and what won't?
Well, get the Navis to scan the star.
Okay, cool. So let's quickly jump back to the bridge of the Navis. Who's gonna do the sensor scanning? So we've got Cursed, who's got sensors. We've got Mono, who's got sensor operation, but he's also got astrological phenomena. Anybody else on the science block got similar? Sensors, electrical engineering, Jenny. Stellar phenomena for Jenny Eric. Stellar cartography. I mean, Bravo of stellar cartography has got astrophysics as well as stellar cartography, so any and all of those guys could be used in science. Actually, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Technically, all of the ones I've just mentioned could be used, so do you want to use all of them?
I say go for it.
Okay. Mike, as usual, Mono is your boy. If you could be Lieutenant Mono for me, giving me a reason in science using his astrological phenomena as a focus. Sean, as a fellow cat, you may as well go for Cursed. She rolls 1 dice. Also using... actually, she's using sensors to focus. Yeah. Gareth's already rolled, so we can't have Bertram's bit on the side. So let's have... I mean, Webby, do you want to be Jenny, or do you want to be Bravo?
I'll be Jenny.
Okay, so that's reason and science as well, and she's here. Oh dear. Okay.
Getting distracted without her man.
Yes,
Could
quite.
say cursed, just cursed the operation.
And I don't know, Alex, Davis, Jan. Does anybody want to roll as Bravo of stellar cartography?
There you go.
Like so,
Where is he? Bravo. Yeah, we
reason and science with his well, astrophysics focus.
I seem to have lost the chat. Has anyone else rolled?
Whoops. Yeah, so
Okay, I'm not seeing chat messages for some reason.
I'll count
So
the 10.
I'm assisting then.
You are
No, I
assisting.
didn't roll.
Yes.
Yeah, you're assisting.
And you've got a 16. Okay, so overall we got 1 and 2 and a complication.
I think that Kef can use "Today is a good day to die."
Incidentally,
is that Kef has stolen Andrew's seat?
actually, Cursed does have a point of determination she can use to re-roll that 20.
Let's see what happens.
Let's see what happens. Okay.
Kef uses "Today is a good day to die."
The thing is, there we've used 1, 2, 3, 4, all of the dice that we could use. So
Yeah, but he's using the determination.
Yeah, I need the determination for the...
we've exhausted the amount of dice we can use. So
Are you sure first into battle doesn't help? Because it's powered by threat.
by threat.
by Kath's threatening demeanour alone. Okay.
Threatens the creatures to get out of the fusion reactor.
1, 2. Scanning the Osarin star itself once again proves that there is evidence of triolic waves, which doesn't give you an accurate count as to whether or not there are any life forms in the star. At the moment, the triolic waves are creating enough uncertainty in the sensor readings that you're getting a definitive maybe. However, the triolic waves might be the answer. So, Mono suggests, could perhaps triolic waves be a key to something with the entities themselves?
Davidians. Just putting it out there.
I mean, with those 2 successes, but
Maybe
also a
discovered
complication,
it.
it's difficult to tell whether or not what's going on is anything to do with the Davidians. Certainly they are the only life forms that Federation has come across as of this time that have evidence of triolic energy waves as a use. So make of that what you will. So let me move you back to the engineering section so that you can make your own decisions based on what the information you've now gleaned.
From what you've said, it sounds like it is a safe assumption that they came from the star. It's also a safe assumption that the Orions doing a refueling scoop on the star is kind of what screwed them over.
They brought them to the station, okay.
So if we drop the power of both, they might be able to make it.
So that would mean, alright, that would mean the reactor was an accident. So you think they're just being opportunistic?
Edwards, knowing what he knows of Orions, this doesn't seem like an unreasonable conclusion to come to.
The Orions docked here for repairs, and they docked here when things went wrong.
Right.
Yeah, I mean about them starting to loot the place. It's more of a they just took advantage of something happening. Is more I was getting at. So it wasn't an intentional. It wasn't an intentional robbery, but it was a lot of opportunity.
It was a robbery of opportunity because they had their own needs to attend to.
We took the captain away while this happened. She's the one who keeps them control and gives them a target. Otherwise they just go nuts.
It's at this point that Captain Andrews gets notification that the security team has managed to cut through the bulkhead lock. They can enter into the Orion ship anytime they like now.
Have fun, guys.
Okay.
Just
Right, if you can get the reactor turned off, what we're going to try and do is eject the core into the star. And then we'll get a new core set up. We should be able to eject the contents.
You want to just plain eject the Orion's own reactor. And you want to eject the one on the station here?
If we can get both the reactors to dump their contents out into space, then, because it's not an antimatter reactor, it doesn't have to hold containment until it's outside the ship and won't explode. We just have to dump the contents and hopefully it goes in the right direction.
Alright.
Ooh, what if we use the Orion's one as the lure? We just ejected it, but we held it by a tractor beam and just pulled it along. That's the healthier
idea.
one. Give off all the energy. So we dimmed the one on the station and used the healthier one just to bait him out.
Right. Do you want to go get the tractor beam configured for a fusion reaction containment? Then, as we jettison the contents here, you take the contents from the Orion, pull it together as one blob, and then hold it together as you drag that to the star.
Okay.
If you can get the Navis side of that working, work with Kef and work with Bravo. Nova, do you want in on that one, or do you want to help with jury rigging the craziest ejection system you've ever seen?
You know, you probably swayed her with option B, right?
Well, I weren't going to suggest nothing, but that certainly seemed like the icing on the cake to me.
I think Nova would be interested in playing with the creatures as well.
So, if you're more interested in playing with the creatures, that suggests... Okay, so it suggests to me that some folks are journeying back to the Navis and some folks are remaining here. So, basically, who's going back to the Navis?
Well, Edwards has been voluntold.
Captain?
I think I'll also go back.
Yep, sounds like some manoeuvring is going to be required in order to pull some hungry entities along. The captain going to take charge of this operation from the Navis, or is going to stay here on the station?
I think the station's got it fairly covered, so I'll return to the Navis.
Ori, is Ori remaining here on the station in order to try and help with whatever's going on with this crazy thing they're trying to do, or was he rather try and do science stuff from the Navis? Do we think?
Stay on the station.
Stay on the
if
station.
he's allowed.
Okay.
Yeah,
Meanwhile,
kind of needs no.
Bertram, staying here to help with triaging patients and stuff?
Yeah, Bertram's going to be staying on the station to help with the injured.
Okay. Well, he's doing a bang-up job, so there's no need to worry about that. So if we proceed back to the bridge for a moment, Engineer Keth seems more than happy to give up the captain's chair once again to the cap. Ori is staying on. Lenny, however, is less than keen at giving up the helm spot, but nonetheless, back comes the dancing Thazanan. Lechude is not being replaced by Nova, so Lechude can probably stay on ops, whereas...
Tries to wander away, finds out Nova hasn't come back.
That's a good point, because we're going to need Lechude for the actual sorting out of... for... Actually, no, he wouldn't be tractor beam. I don't know why I was thinking the teleporter. Ignore me, and my mind is drifted.
That's fine, don't worry about it. Okay, so Thazanan is going to be probably performing maneuvers once the ejection system goes off. So the first thing we are going to look to do is to get a quick look to see how well the security teams managed to secure the Orion ship. We're not looking at anything much, so I'm going to go with... Webby, you haven't rolled in a little bit, so... Actually, no, you have. Alex has rolled, Webby has rolled, Sean has rolled, Mike has rolled, Gareth. Yan, could you please roll as Commander Bravo of Security? Give me a control and security roll with an emphasis on security protocol focus, please. To see how soon and how well the security guys are able to capture or subdue the Orions on their ship. See how much time it gives you. Ooh. Yay. 2 successes. Nice. So some minimal resistance is met, but Bravo and his security teams are able to, the team rather I should say, are able to secure the Orion ship fast enough for them to get the crew under lock and key, and then secure the engineering section. That doesn't require an awful lot, but Keth does volunteer to go onto the Orion ship in order to be the one to eject their core when it's required. How much of a tasty lure did you want the Orion's reactor to be? Just running along as normal, or did you want to give it a bit of an extra punch before it gets ejected?
It's going to need to be kept fairly juicy, I'd imagine, to get them out, as well as also to sustain them, I suppose, once they are out.
What was Edwards' job? It was getting the tractor beam ready to receive. Right, yeah, that was it. So, who else hasn't rolled in a wicked bitty bit? Which everyone's had to do.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, Yes. How do you fancy rolling as Keth?
Can do. What we're rolling.
So let's see, he's just trying to put a bit of extra juice out of the reactor so it's a more tempting target once it is ejected. So this is going to be probably a control and engineering check for him, please.
Okay, is he assisting or running on his own?
He's running on his own.
Cool.
He is able to use the momentum pool if he wants to add a bit of extra dice to it.
Does this count?
Whenever you determine the source of a technical problem. This ain't a problem.
That's a shame. Okay. That's good. Don't think he's gone through any determination at this.
Okay. Today's a good... Oh, actually, whoa, he did very, very well. Alright, so Keth manages to run the Orion's reactor hot enough that it is going to be generating a nice amount of very tempting power once it gets ejected.
Nice amount of plasma, yeah.
Oh yes, so his finger is now on the release catch ready to eject that core. Next thing we're going to need to do then is go over to Edwards, who was going to rejig the tractor beam so that it's able to more properly contain the energies that are going to be going on. So for this one, Edwards, well, this is about as experimental as you get, so experimental technology as a focus makes sense. Let's go with control and engineering for you as well, please. Difficulty for this is going to be 3 because of the complication that happened earlier because you were dealing with triolic waves.
I'm going to nav a momentum. And I don't... First experience dealing with these kind of life forms, would seeing is believing be a reasonable determination, or is that to be a bit much?
No, I can go with that. Well, that's good. That's very, very, very good.
I can't even see the results because it's blocked out for me for some reason.
Let me put it this way. You earned 4 bonus momentum with that. So we now have a full momentum pool again. Dang, son. 3 1s.
A 1 was from the determination, but
yes.
Yeah.
So, but you did roll 2 1s on the actual. I think that's the most 1s I've ever seen so far. Well done. You've set a new record. Good grief. Alrighty do. In that case, you not only reinforce the tractor beam to compensate for any interference from triolic and energy emissions, but you've reinforced the tractor beam in such a way that you reckon if any of those entities did break out of containment, you could probably hold them. So you've created a very nice containment beam to do this with. So you have made modifications to the tractor beam's systems and emitters, so you are as set to go as possible. Now it's going to be some crazy engineering stuff from the guys on the station.
As I say, if this pulls through, I'll be saving this and submitting it to Starfleet for if it comes up again for these creatures.
Absolutely. Now, let me see. The first thing we're going to want, probably out of Unit Hello and Lieutenant Ori, is once again going to be dealing with more warp field dynamics than anything else. So this is going to be reason and science from Ori, please, with maybe some reason and science from Unit Hello as well as backup. Quantum computing will probably come in well as a focus for Unit Hello. So if I could have Mike and Sean do their respective rippity rolls, please. Oh, good grief. That was very good. Let's see what Unit Hello next nets us. Okay, pretty good. That's 1 success. So 4 successes overall means that you guys have now done a thorough scan of the station's reactor system with an eye towards isolating these energetic life forms. You've now got the quantum frequency that they resonate on, so that you know where they live. managed to now create a monitoring system now that will allow you to keep track of these life forms as they, hopefully, as they move from one place to another, so that you can track your progress with them. You've done such a good job of it that you've got a pretty precise reading on the exact number of life forms that are in the reactor, 10. And so, as long as Edwards' containment tractor beam works, you should have no trouble keeping track of these entities once this whole operation is ready to go. So the only thing that's really left, as preparation-wise goes, are basically Vibers and Nova to see if they can get this enough repairs done on the release mechanism of the station's reactor that it can be safely ejected and then caught by the Navis. So let's see how we do. This sounds like daring and engineering to me, because the place is still quite a wreck and you have got quite a difficult job ahead of you. So I'm going to say this is difficulty 3.
How many manual systems can you tweak to fit together when the internal of the core is still on?
As many as you can get away with, I believe, is the answer.
So, are we doing this as a Nova run crazy plan, or a Vibers controlled assisted crazy?
Entirely up to you.
I suppose how crazy do you want the plan to be?
Well, that's, again, a very valid question. Define levels of crazy. I mean, just journeying out into space
This does lead
alone
an
is
interesting question. Because this is after breakfast, isn't it?
Oh.
Technically, yes. Yes, it is. If you want to get really, really strict with it.
How is this?
In case anybody wonders what the hell he's talking about.
He's not just craving, like, a snack.
Okay,
We
looks
might
like
be,
it's a
actually,
Nova
to be
plan.
honest.
We're going with the Nova levels of crazy. Well, I expect non-Euclidean geometry to be employed.
What's
When
that?
we
We have a
managed
port. Sorry.
So when we managed to take these creatures out of this thing through a hole the size of a pin and not touch the sides.
Star-Cross. So the hole isn't quite that small. Oh, and Cochrane Medal of Excellence. We're going all in. I like. So once per mission, when you spend a point of determination, you receive 2 benefits of determination. We are going all in. Alright then.
Do we need a reroll on this as well?
Considering what's been piled into this.
Just the irony. While Nova's coming up with this, I've pulled up the manuals just in case.
In the event of catastrophe, this should be plugged here, that should be plugged there. 4 successes, or is it 4 successes?
Do we want
because
to do
6.
it's actually 6. Yeah, thank you. Good lordy logs, and you get double.
Do we want to do that reroll?
If you really weren't happy with the 17.
Not happy with that 17. Let's see what it comes up with.
14, okay. God damn, is that 7 successes now?
Yeah.
Good lord. Alright. Wow, that's a full momentum pool again. And not only is it a full momentum pool again, you have somehow... Again, the engineering repair teams who are there, who are just there in case something goes wrong, they're watching Vibers do his thing, and it's like, oh, this brings me back to the good old days when Vibers was in charge of just engineering. And Vibers is there doing his stuff with the procedural compliance, so things that should be clicked into certain places are still being clicked into certain places. Nova, however, is going off on entirely her own thing. And the engineers are there with this increasing... their brows are gradually knitting together closer and closer as they're seeing something that should not be possible made possible broken bits of engineering facility are being cobbled together in some kind of patchwork monstrosity that has now somehow managed to reinforce the reactor enough so that when it does get ejected, it doesn't come apart into little bits. And the actual ejection routine itself is reinitialized, and in this house we obey the laws of thermodynamics.
That should be part of the lecture that Andrew gives Nova later.
I thought this system only had 4 self-sealing stem bolts. Why have I got 5 left over?
I believe what happened is that Nova managed to create a stem bolt that wasn't necessarily self-sealing. It was just one that clicked into place and somehow worked. Nevertheless, you've managed to create the system so that it will safely eject the station's core on command, without fail, and should be on correct trajectory. So, the only thing left to do is to actually do it and see what happens. So, the Navis, once again, is not docked with Station Epsilon 19 at all. It's far too big a ship to have made dock with them. You don't need the tractor beam to hold the Orion ship in place anymore because you now control the Orion ship. So the Navis is entirely free to position itself wherever. Obviously, the reactor core of the station is going to come out at a certain specific point. Same for the Orion ship's core. So it becomes a case of catching one, then catching the other. So, let's see how well we do this. I think this requires some awesome piloting from Athazanan. We're also going to ask Gareth to be the Navis. Navis A, so we're going to require... We're going to require engines and con from the Navis. We're going to require control and con from Athazanan, and the captain can probably coordinate everything by giving us presence and command to see if all of this gets coordinated to perfection, or if we get by the skin of our teeth. We'll see how we do.
1 success for the Navis.
1 success from the Navis. Okie dokie, thank you, Gareth.
I shall use my Star-Cross, and I shall use the point of determination.
Alright. 10 is actually more than just 1 success, it is 2, but you used it. Oh no, so that's where's Andrew's. So it's all down to that. So,
So that's 5 successes because of the 7.
Yes. So that's 5, 6, and 7. With a full momentum pool, it all goes into this action. So with incredible precision, born of your hundreds, if not thousands of hours of flight practice, and also your many hours of all working together, you pull this off like it was a ballet almost. The station core gets ejected, and then soon after, Keth flips the lever on the Orion ship and ejects their reactor. The Navis swoops around and snatches the station's reactor deftly, and then pulls around in an overly complex maneuver that Athazanan did just to show off, in order to basically swing the tractor beam out and catch the Orion reactor as it went past. You managed to successfully snag both. Now it's just a matter of introducing them to the Asarin star. So, getting close to the star is no mean feat, as, you know, gravity, heat, not to mention triolic waves. So, we are going to require one more bit of deft maneuvering and some orders from the captain, some assistance from the ship once again, but this time we are going to need our chief engineer, or somebody, doesn't have to be the chief engineer, anybody that you want to assign to it, to to can reconfigure the shields to cope with what's going to be needed out of it. So Edwards can try it, or somebody else can try it. The chief engineer can try it. Anybody you want to can give it a go. Who would you prefer? I will say that Danielle Stevens has a focus in shields.
I'm okay to go with that. Danielle?
Mike, could you be Danielle Stevens for me, please?
Okay.
She is going to be rolling control and engineering with a focus on shields and rolling 1 dice.
Control and engineering?
Yes, please. Okay, 1 success. Very nicely done. So that leaves the ship. Gareth, if you could give us the same roll from the Navis one more time. Actually, no. Check that. I would like structure and con, please. Let's see how well the old girl holds up. 1 success. Fantastic. So, finally, can we have one more control and con check from Fazanan on helm, please?
I shall use another determination this time. I'll use the value: the greater good must acknowledge individual suffering.
So a bit of stress on the old ship means that it can get the job done. Nice, nice, nice. Three successes. 4, 5 successes. So, Fazanan, once again, being the expert pilot he is, manages to maneuver the Navis in between some points of stellar rejection or solar winds so that you have as smooth a ride as possible. There is a momentary burst of triolic waves, which does seem to resonate with the creatures in the reactor, who have moved from the dimming station reactor and have now inhabited the Orions reactor just as you intended. And the pull then to basically fling the reactors in the direction of the star goes off as Fazanan pulls a skidding turn almost in order to generate enough momentum to make sure that the 2 reactors go straight towards the star. Your sensors register a detonation as the reactors basically make contact with the star and go boom. And we can pretty much drop the alert here as we move to. Using your sensors to now have a good old look at what's going on, the triolic emissions kind of continue out, but then they dim and become this kind of rhythmical pulsing rather than a steady stream. And with your sensors now attuned to the frequency that Ori brings back with him once he's transported back onto the Navis, Ori and his science team are able to determine that there are indeed other living entities of the same type that you found in the station reactor thriving within the Osarin star. It seems potentially that when they detected the station's reactor, they used their natural ability to emit triolic waves to send out some of their own kind. It seems that these entities, as undiscovered as up to this point as they are, use triolic waves as a means of propulsion. They kind of fly along on them. They also seem to use them as a form of primitive communication, almost like a wolf's howl. They use it to. They seem to be using it to not exactly coordinate with one another, but at the very least call out to one another. These triolic waves might very well have been the means by which these smaller variations of these creatures, so likely offspring were sent to basically feed off of the station reactor in order to thrive in their own environment. So it's possible that you have inadvertently witnessed what was essentially a colony migration, an established colony of simple cosmozoan life forms sent forth some of their young to find their own feeding ground. Unfortunately, it happened to be a Starfleet science station, so sending these young back to the Osarin star, they seemed to make contact with a specific cluster of these other more mature life forms, which could very well be the equivalent of their family or broodmates of some sort, and they just inhabit that region of the star and just continue to feed. And so it does turn out that the rapid aging of the Osarin star did have nothing to do with the Tilical or their technology. This was entirely down to a new and unencountered life form. The Orions, however, have all been captured and are going to naturally be charged with trying to steal biomimetic gel, and not to mention assaulting Starfleet personnel. The Epsilon 19 station itself has been so badly damaged that it will more than likely have to be scrapped, so Starfleet sends word back that the personnel who can be should be evacuated by the Navis to the nearest starbase. Meanwhile, that nearest starbase will dispatch another ship in order to assist with the stabilization enough of the station that those who remain, who couldn't be immediately evacuated by the Navis, can be evacuated by this other ship, whoever it happens to be, when they turn up. And so, congratulations, guys, you have successfully managed to complete this episode. And discovered an entirely new life form.
Worst resupply run ever.
Oh, I'm
was
pretty
that,
sure
Mike?
at least one Orion died.
Oh,
It's
well,
a
okay,
flesh
you're
wound.
right.
I mean, Fascinated gut him like a fish. Just a
No one of
smidge.
importance died.
No one of importance died. That's the
That's
important thing,
right.
yes.
Well, we'll log a navigation hazard note in the charts that no ship could get too close to the star, especially if they've got a fusion drive.
Now, it remains unclear without further study whether these creatures occur naturally in the Osarin system or if they migrated here from somewhere else. So it's entirely possible that there are other life forms like this out there in the galaxy and just migrate from star to star. So, but that'll probably be something for Starfleet Science and Medical to have to deal with.
Let's give the Orions a tow somewhere else.
Now, are you going to take them back to Federation space to be arrested, or are you just going to fling them at the nearest empty place and let them just choke home on emergency power?
Fling him in a star.
For the good of the Federation!
They're
That's
going,
right.
they're going to Federation
Take your
territory.
sneaking pheromones and get out of here.
There's only going to be one sort of
Is there a
sexy
Klingon
pheromones going on in this place, and it's
station
me.
That's
Is there a Klingon
right.
resupply station anywhere near here?
Is there a resupply station anywhere near here? There probably is.
Because if there's a Klingon one, they'd be a lot more interested to drop it on them.
I believe Webby said you were looking to take them to Federation space, yes, Webby? It makes sense. They assaulted Federation personnel, and so they should stand. They should at least be arrested and then have charges drawn up against them. It's up to the Orion people themselves then to negotiate extradition and all that stuff. But I was just curious if you wanted to be particularly mean to them or not.
There was a part of me that was tempted to just dump them on. Where's Khan currently, Sean?
Khan?
SETI Alpha
I
5,
think
isn't it?
SETI Alpha 5 might be a bit far away.
Yeah, you've been to SETI
Maybe we
Alpha
should
5
put-
already. So
We have a Bifrost draft.
you do?
That is
It
a
will take us
point.
literally minutes. Oh,
You
what
could-
happened to the Orions? We don't know.
They visited the museum
Oh,
on
the
SETI
demon-
Alpha 5.
Let's
Yeah,
drop
what's
off
that?
on
There's a
SETI
demon
Alpha
planet
4.
nearby.
It'll be fine.
Yeah,
SETI Alpha
just
4,
put one on a
good God.
demon planet. Got to be a Y-class planet somewhere nearby. Have fun. What's that? You've got no power on your ship? Oh, that's not my problem. Shouldn't have stabbed me.
That is a good point. The the captain will have to report to sickbay did have to report to sickbay pretty quick. When she
Nah, it's
Oh
fine.
no, I've got a really good one. What we do is we drop them off one system away from Narendra Station, and we give our friend who's an Orion trader a hint that there's an Orion ship that'll need a tow, and I'd like a commission off what he gets.
So I just want to say, I thought for a second you say we'll drop the one system away from retirement.
Well, that too.
Given that they've only got manoeuvring thrusters to go on, they will have been retired by the time they get anywhere.
They should have set their daggers to stun.
Training blade.
Just make it wood rather than metal. Okay, nicely done, guys. That was a pretty noteworthy success, though. You could have dealt with this in any number of other ways, but you didn't. You dealt with it quite well, I thought. So, yeah, congrats. Anything anybody wants to put forward before we bring this episode to an official close?
Let's not try to split the party fully again.
Do what we had to do.
Everyone on the solo mission. Rebel
Mostly
takes
no.
the Orion dagger as a trophy.
Hey,
Keep the Orion
I
dagger
got-
as a trophy, okay?
I got Nova in command of a mission.
You did, actually. Without meaning to.
No, that was
Now she
intentional.
gets to claim. Gets to claim her last gym badge. Well done. Now she can take on the.
It's not the last time, just get a new one.
Does that mean she's got to fight the captain for leadership?
It'd be an admiral, surely.
You've got to go up the ranks, and I've wear the wrong colour. Fine.
I need a promotion. Fight me. It's a very Klingon way of doing it, I have to say. Okay, well, that pretty much brings the episode to an end, in my mind, at least. So I would very much like to thank my players for being extremely fun to play with, as usual.
Thank you for DMing that.
Yes. Thank you for thank you everybody who watched, as per usual. Those folks who did tune in on the stream, I hope you enjoyed it. Those people who tuned in later on YouTube, hope you enjoyed it enough to leave us a like in order to please our Lord and Master, although be it as temperamental as they appear to be, the algorithm. Say it with me, folks. All hail the algorithm.
Hail.
Even though they keep changing the way the algorithm works. Anyways, many thanks as per usual. Before I sign off, something that is brought to my attention that I find intensely amusing. We've had, at time of recording this, has been the 50th anniversary of D&D, whatever you may think of it. And of course they released their first high-level campaign, which was the Vecna Eve of Ruin campaign, if I recall. And not long after being officially released, people are already releasing their fixes for it. So, on the Dungeon Masters Guild, right here on the screen at the moment, I am showing Mr. Welch's fixes for Vecna Eve of Ruin. So, well done, wizards, you couldn't even get that right. It takes
Vecna
other people to
OP,
fix your work
please
for you.
Oh my gosh.
So there we go. I'm not saying that if you enjoyed the Vecna Eve of Ruin as it was written, more power to you, well done. But some people have been disappointed by how they wrote it originally, so...
Oh, there.
Vector peaked at die, Vector die. Prove me wrong.
In the meantime, unless any of my intrepid crew here have got anything to add to proceedings?
We were having a break next week, or are we on?
Yes, more than likely, since this is the... let me try that again. This is the end of an episode. So the 18th will be one of our rest periods. The 25th will be the next time the Navis crew meet up, if folks are still available for it.
I should be available, however, my house is currently undergoing painting and recarpeting that week, so it basically depends on how that is going. So I might be kind of trying to play from a very cramped room full of furniture.
Okay. Do your best. And if everybody else is still amenable to the 25th of June as our next meeting point?
Yes.
Yep.
Excellent. Then in that case, I shall thank my players once again for being awesome, and I shall thank all of you who tuned in for doing so. If you liked it enough and you're watching this on YouTube to give us a like, that would be awesome. If you want to, as I have noted with the changes to the way the algorithm works to keep up with when our videos are posted, hit the bell icon and remember to actually hit all as what you want to be notified about, because it won't always notify you. Thanks, algorithm. In the meantime, I wish you all to do like the Vulcans do, and in this case, live long and prosper, and help out your friends when they need to fling some cosmozoan life forms into a star.
You've all been there.
Also remember to engage in infinite diversity and infinite combinations. We will see you when we see you next, folks, and make sure to treat each other with respect and kindness as you expect to be treated in return. Hailing frequencies are now closed.